Hi guys, welcome back, or a very warm welcome if you are new. My name is Nikki and this is a community lot makeover. So I have decided that, I mentioned in my last video the Sigworth family townie makeover, that I'm really excited to start my forever save. And so I have created 3 households for the legacy packs challenge that I want to start, and that legacy packs challenge will be in this forever save. Now those households live in 3 different worlds: Willow Creek Oasis Springs, and Magnolia Promenade. And so I have decided that I would love to renovate the community lots in those worlds, so when I play or begin my forever save with those legacy packs households, that they are visiting lots that I have created myself and I love them and I'm happy about them. So this is the start of that. So the first lot I have chosen is the Blue Velvet Jazz Bar in Willow Creek. So each world, as you may know, is based on a real life part of the world, or a city, or a country, and Willow Creek is inspired by New Orleans. And so what I did is I researched what kind of community lots are in New Orleans, and there are a lot of like jazz bars, jazz lounges. And so what I've decided is that I am going to recreate one of those lots. Well, not recreate. What I really wanted to do, and what I want to do moving forward with this forever save, is that I want to be inspired by real life styles, architecture, but I'm not going to try and duplicate them exactly. You can't really do that in The Sims anyway, especially without custom content, and I'm not going to use custom content. I say that now, let's see. But what I want to do is just use them as a blueprint for what I'm going to create in these community lots and in these spaces that are inspired by real world locations. So I will pop on the screen some images that I found on Pinterest. I just kind of searched for New Orleans bars, New Orleans exterior, like lounge bars, exteriors and interiors, just to get a good idea of what I want this place to look like. And then I'll use that as a jumping off point and kind of add what I also think looks nice, but I don't want to stray too far from the original inspiration, but I also don't want to be too strict and only do what is in those pictures. So I'm trying to find a balance between those ideas. And so I found a few images, and one thing that I really loved was how kind of, I guess, the feeling that these places evoke, and it just feels so warm, so inviting, so authentic. There doesn't seem to be any pretension when it comes to these hotspots. I don't even know if you would call them hotspots. They're probably like just local hidden gems. I don't know. I've never been to New Orleans, but I really wanted to kind of mimic that feeling of kind of traditional but also trendy. And so I used the overall structure. So the first thing you saw me do is I went into the lot and I just deleted everything. I deleted all of the furniture, the windows, the doors. I just didn't want to be too swayed by the original layout of how things were in the original community lot. I think when I go in and don't do that, I end up trying to stick to a layout that doesn't feel right to me because I'm too swayed, I'm too conscious of what it looked like before. So I deleted everything, and the first thing I did was focus on the exterior. And so I don't think I changed the color of the brick, I can't remember, but I changed the windows. I wanted it to be I wanted to have the colors, I wanted to have dark colors, so dark brick, kind of black iron columns. There's a lot of columns in the original pictures. And another thing that I really liked is that a lot of them had like the main door, the entrance door on the corner. So that's the first thing I moved. And I love the kind of diagonal entrance to the building. And so I did that, and I'm trying my best to use items that look stylish but not too contemporary. So this is this is what I found kind of like a fun challenge. Like I had an idea of what kind of interior design that I wanted to stick to and not stray too far from. So at the moment I am working on the lighting. I mentioned before that, you know, we all use, as in Sims builders, I wouldn't even call myself a Sims builder, but we're so used to using those sources for lighting. But I really want the lighting choice to also be part of the interior, to be part of the feeling that I'm trying to evoke. And so there are lots of kind of chandeliers and like sconces. Another thing that I wanted to do was move the toilets from upstairs to downstairs. So there was no toilets downstairs, and I remember visiting this lot as just a regular simmer maybe ages ago and finding it really awkward that you always have to go upstairs to go to use the toilet, especially when the bar is downstairs. So I moved the toilets downstairs. I think in the end I did 3 toilets downstairs and 1 toilet upstairs. Another thing that I changed, because I think the original version of this lot is a bar and I changed it to a lounge. Did I have to Google the difference between a bar and a lounge? Yes. So a lounge is a little bit more upmarket, a little bit more sophisticated, and I thought, oh yeah, I want that. So you can see on the left side that I have the panel staying up because I want to hit all the requirements that are needed for a for a lounge. And one of the requirements that I wasn't ready for was that it needed a musical instrument, it needed a microphone, and so I thought, oh, this is actually quite nice because I can do like a stage area. So I've done that on the ground floor to the left side of the building. One thing that struck me about the original inspirational pics was just how many plants are in these buildings on the inside and outside, and I just love that. They look so beautiful, they look so stunning, so inviting. And so I was trying to figure out how can I have like decorative planting on the outside, and I found, and I've never used these before, I found like those, like they look like almost trees but on a metal column, and they fit so well with the columns that already existed. I just thought that's probably one of my favorite things about this build, is that kind of the lucky coincidence I found of these plants that fit right in with the columns, and it kind of looks like it's part of the building. So I love that. So we are in the interior now, ground floor, and I just thought, oh my god, this is going to be so, there are so many bars. We have so many bars in the game, and I just thought, I don't know which one to choose, and I think I brought almost all of them out. I knew, again, the idea that I had, I wanted it to look kind of traditional, I wanted it to have like a dark colouring, but then I also found that some bars kind of repeat in different sizes, and I thought I quite like that. I like pattern, I like symmetry, and so I found a bar that is like 3 tile, 2 tile and 1 tile, and so I went for that. And you can see on the stage there that I'm like placing a microwave, definitely not a microwave, a microphone and a piano. And so I think, I don't know, can you set community lots? I think I'm mistaking it with businesses and hobbies, when you can set the tasks or the recreational actions of the guests or the visitors. I don't think you can, but I think people would just autonomously use the piano and use the microphone. So I'm really excited to kind of visit this lot actually and see what it's like as a patron. Look at me using words. So the next thing I wanted to do was choose the tables. And again, what I'm going to do is now upload. I'm going to post images of interiors, and the interiors are just so beautiful. And so again, I was trying to kind of use that as inspiration. And again, I'm just a sucker for like a piece of furniture that comes in different sizes. I love kind of matching swatches, matching furniture. So I found these tables that I thought were really nice, and they come in like 2 tile wide and 3 tile wide. I don't think yes, I did. So I used just the 2 tile wide tables on the ground floor, and then I think I used one of the 3 tile wide tables upstairs. And so what I was trying to do is kind of work out kind of zoning areas, and I believe I settled on, so the main area when you walk into the building, the main area is where you sit down for like the performance. There's the stage there, you can grab a table and be part of that space. And then at the back, past the bar, there's another smaller bar, and that space has couches, and so you can have a little bit more of a cozy kind of intimate space in that area. I think in the end I also put carpet down in that space just to add a little bit more coziness to that space. And then gross, I nearly choked. And then upstairs I have a third bar, and there are larger leather seats upstairs and also a larger dining table. Although I don't think I didn't want this space to be like an eating space, so it's just more like a social gathering space. I don't think you can have like meals. But if you're coming in with like maybe workmates or a larger group of friends, then there's a larger table upstairs. Annoyingly, I don't know how many times this is going to happen to me. I was recording for a while. Maybe at this time I was recording for like half an hour, maybe just under an hour, before I realized that my recording software froze again. This has happened before. And so last time what I did when that happened was I deleted everything and then re-recorded me doing those options again. I didn't do that this time because I wasn't recording for too long and I knew I had so much more to do. So if you are now realizing that there's certain things that have been added that wasn't in the video, that's why. But I kind of felt like because I'm still adding so much more, you can see the progress I've made so far. So you can see behind the bar downstairs, the main bar, I've added those drinks. I thought that was a really nice touch. There are sconces on the walls now, there are more planting areas. And so what I try to do when I make builds or interiors for builds is that I try to do them in layers. And so I try to do like the exterior first, and then like the big furniture, and then maybe smaller pieces of furniture, and then I go in and do like the decoration or the the cluttering. So my favorite thing to do actually was doing all the plants, and there are so many framed pictures on the walls as well, and I was really excited to do that. So I'm coming towards now like adding the plants to the area, and it just warms up the place. It just makes, like, I just love how these things make such a big difference when you add plants to a space. Like, you really can't go wrong. I think I might even add a bit more offline because again, I forgot to actually save this to the gallery, and I'm just so scared of doing all this work and then my save crashes or something. So I need to upload this build to the gallery, and I'll upload it to my gallery online as well. So my Sims 4 ID is in the description box below, so if you want to download anything that I have made, feel free to do so. My builds don't have any CC. I mean, I have so much build by CC items, I just don't tend to use them anymore. I kind of want to rely on just the packs that I have paid for, but I can't do non-CC Sims. I don't think you will ever catch me doing a fully non-CC sim, but builds are so much easier to avoid CC. So yeah, you can see outside now that I've already placed these tables. I've placed some more plants outside, and I was going to say something else. I've literally forgotten, so I'm just going to continue. So I wanted some more seating areas on the outside areas as well. And so there's a balcony upstairs. I think there's one large table, like a circle table, upstairs on the balcony, and then some benches. This is where I start to do my favorite thing now, and that is putting all the framed pictures on the walls. And in some of the inspirational pictures, there are loads of framed pictures, and they look great, but I was really super conscious of like loading times, and I don't have a gaming computer. I work on a Mac because I'm a designer artist. God, that sounds so pretentious, but I work on a Mac, right? So I don't have a gaming computer, so I'm really conscious of like loading times and loading strain on the computer. So I don't clutter any build like massively, just because I want to still be able to run the game. So I feel like I did a good balance of kind of evoking those inspirational pictures, but also not going overboard with placing too many items in one space. There's one photo where one interior of a jazz bar even had like framed pictures on the ceiling. It looked so cool. It looked really great. I can just imagine how long that took. But yeah, I don't go that far. I just try to, anywhere there's kind of like a free wall space, I try to add pictures. Another thing that I don't think it matters, right, how much the lot value is on a community lot. Like, there's no one that's paying the bills. Usually when I'm doing like a residential space, I'm thinking about how much money I'm spending in the space, and I tend to go or choose like cheaper items in the catalogs, so the lot value is not too high, and therefore my bills are not too high. But so I never really choose like images or pictures at the bottom of the catalog, because sometimes they run like thousands and thousands of simoleons, and it kind of took me a while to break out of that subconscious kind of trying to decide what to pick for cluttering, because I was thinking, oh, I don't want to make it too expensive, and then I had to remember it doesn't matter, right? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it matters. So there are some really expensive pictures in this space, and another thing I really liked is that I got to choose pictures that I've never picked before. I would never use in any other lot. For example, I don't think I've ever used like these jazz paintings before, and I didn't understand why there were so many jazz paintings in the catalogue, and now it makes sense because jazz bars are common in New Orleans, and Willow Creek, the very first world in The Sims, is based on New Orleans. So that finally, like, the penny drops why there's so many jazz paintings, and they ended up being like perfect for this build. I think I have 1 or 2 repeats, which I'm annoyed about. So I think because I didn't want to repeat any pictures, but when I was editing this, I realized that I've seen something twice. I'm not going to mention it though, so I don't want to like call myself out. But and there's these lovely saxophones in like glass boxes. I've never seen it before. It's funny how when you make something that you're unaccustomed to making, you see so many things that you just never knew you had access to or was available to you. Here's me straightening the sofas, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I like to place things a little bit skew with, a little bit wonky, whether it's a rug or a chair, a sofa, because I just think it looks a little bit unnatural when everything's so perfectly straight. But then I made them straight again. So I was like, oh, it's fine. But yeah, most of the time I like to make something a little bit more skew with. Is that a word? Is that a British slang? Skew with? Skew with. Anyway, moving on. One thing I realized I didn't do, and again I would have to do this off camera, is that I didn't add any signage to the outside. So when I was removing everything from the original building, I remember removing all this kind of signage and maybe neon lights and jazz imagery outside, and I remember thinking, ew, that's so tacky, that looks ugly. But I didn't actually replace any of it with like my style of signage. So I think I'm gonna have to do that, because from the outside, I mean, it's obvious, but it's not as obvious as it probably should be that this is a community local drinking establishment. So I might have to do that. I don't even know if I have anything that would work or look good. I think I should probably, oh my god, this is so bad. I think there are probably kits that have items that are for public spaces like this. So I might have a cheeky look. Kits never go on sale, so I might just pop down a $5 if something works for me. But speaking of kits, not even kits, speaking of DLC, oh my god, the new DLC, Enchanted by Nature, except that's not the one I'm trying to talk about. It's Adventure Awaits. It looks so good. It looks so good. Anyway, it's my birthday soon, so I might have to hint to someone to just, oh, could you give me £35? I think it's £35 in the UK. So I can get Adventure Awaits, because I really want that pack. It looks so good. I think what sold it for me was like the community lots, the getaways, the scheduling of all these different institutes that oh my god, I'm just so excited. I really want to create, probably not in this channel, I might do it on Twitch, but I really want to create a place that begins with B and rhymes with awful. And I also want to do a prison as well, and I also want to do a cult space. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go into the tour and I will show you this space in real time. Hi guys, so this is the final build of the blue velvet Reno. Let's look at it in different lightings because I really think it just looks so nice when it's dark as well. So that is daytime, this is the evening, and then this is the nighttime, and I just love how it lights up. So as we go inside, this is the main entrance, and we can see the main lounge area with the stage and the piano and just a random seating area. Maybe you're waiting your turn to go on the microphone. I was having some trouble originally with the layout of the tables, but I really like this kind of diagonal layout that I've done here. And then at the back is the bar with some photos at the top. Then you can travel through this archway and have some cozy seating areas here, and then you don't have to leave the room to get another drink. You can go right here, and there are some toilets right at the back here, so there's 3. There is an outdoor area as well, so you can be on the veranda, is that what it's called? And you can sit here, or you can be in the open space here. So I thought that was quite cute. And then just a solo bench if you want to have, I don't know, a cigarette break. So if you go up these stairs here, it takes you to another space where there's another bar and a single toilet here as well. More photos on the wall, and I changed this a bit with some just cozy leather couches and a rug on a carpet because I love that. Another jukebox, and here is the larger dining table if you are with more people. You come down this space and there's even more seating here. There is another balcony with 2 tables, yes. And there's another balcony that faces the front, and we have 2 benches. We have a larger table here. I love these chairs. And then you have another bench here. So lots of seating areas. You can sit outside, you can sit inside, you can sit on a couch, you can sit on a bench. Options galore, but this is the final build. So that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Do leave your thoughts, tips or suggestions in the comment section below. If you'd like to see more, please do give this video a like and do subscribe. Thank you so much. Take it easy, stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye guys. No, the light is always in my glasses. Okay. 1, I've totally lost my train of thought. 2, okay. Thank you so much. No, stop.